As the backhand has gained importance equal to that of the forehand, the backhand counter loop has come into play more and more. Some players don't necessarily run around to use the forehand during a long rally anymore, but will generate an equally dangerous shot from the backhand side. Move back, drop your racket shoulder, bend your legs, and then push off upward before the ball reaches you. That way you generate maximum racket speed and still retain control. This is the contact point. The follow-through is critical. As on the forehand side, it is an extension of the loop off topspin, but it requires later timing and a bigger motion. Concentrate on anticipating the arc early so you know where to set up. The ball leaves the opponent's racket at a high angle. You'll need to back up so you can contact the ball at the appropriate height. This version of the forehand loop is called a curve or hook loop. The ball veers sharply to the left, away from the opponent. He has to chase it and deal with an uncomfortable spin, which tends to make the ball slip off his racket unless he drives it forward strongly. As a variation in a counter loop rally, it can open up the table for a put-away shot. The stroke is the same as in the loop off topspin, but you contact the ball a bit more to the right of center and wrap the racket around the outside of the ball, pulling the follow-through strongly to the left. Use a lot of wrist motion.
When you loop a curve, it's very important that you stay down and you wait until the last moment to change direction. That means you make the basic shot, like you bend your knees, you go forward, and the last moment you change the angle of your wrist.
A backhand loop can also curve. Use more wrist and brush around the outside of the ball. It involves a lot of wrist action. It will break heavily to the right and be very difficult for the opponent to track. Contact the ball here. As in all loop variations, forehand or backhand, try to delay the change of the wrist angle as long as possible. This way you can get your opponent to commit to one position and aim your shot to the opposite side. The inside-out loop breaks in the opposite direction, to the right. If it is placed towards the backhand side, it draws the opponent out wide into his backhand. If it is placed on the forehand or middle of the table, it can jam him, because it breaks into his body. You achieve it by doing a loop and dragging the racket across the back of the ball right to left, in kind of a windshield wiper action. Contact the ball here. Step out wide to the left on follow-through. The racket face points to the right and drags across the back of the ball. Throw the right shoulder forward as you contact the ball to help drive it. This is a great shot to create variety. If it is used during a counter-looping rally, it can break the opponent's rhythm, and if the placement is well chosen and precisely executed, it often yields a clean point. The inside-out backhand loop is the opposite variation. Again, it is achieved by dragging the racket across the back of the ball, combining the loop stroke with a strong sideways motion. It is a very effective placement shot because it is very difficult to anticipate. Contact the ball here.
When you loop inside out, first you have to make basic movement. That means like you make normal topspin and then you change your balance. You go left or you go right, but also in the last moment, because you have to hide with your position, you have to hide where the ball will go. This is most important, that you change the direction in the last moment.
Looping a chop ball is a bit different from looping a regular underspin ball. The ball carries a lot heavier underspin and is usually long. It requires more lift, and you have to use your legs in order to generate enough force. Take a low backswing and strongly brush upward on contact. Contact the ball here. While the forehand loop has been traditionally the weapon of choice against chop, players are increasingly using backhand loops against choppers. It can actually generate more spin and be more difficult to judge. As on the forehand, it requires more lifting than a shot off regular underspin. The legs and the whole body are involved in generating the lift, while the forearm and wrist impart the spin. This is the contact point.
Sometimes top players, we try to, when we play against defense player, we try to use a backhand loop, because the chopper, they don't have a feeling how much spin we put in the backhand when we play backhand topspin. And this is very important sometimes to use your backhand topspin when you play against defense player to get some easy points, because normally with the backhand spin you get more rotation than with the forehand, and this can deceive your opponent.
The forehand smash is a spectacular high-speed put-away shot. It can be used as a quick counter hit to take advantage of an opponent's bad positioning, or in a rally where the opponent has played a ball too softly or too high. Move the whole body into the ball and hit the ball while it's still rising. For hitting a lob, wait until the ball has reached the top of its bounce. Try not to put any spin on the ball by hitting it as squarely as possible so you can feel the ball go through the rubber to the wood. Notice the sharp sound. This is the contact point. The forehand smash is clearly distinguished from the loop by the flat racket contact and the ball's flat trajectory. It carries very little spin, which makes it harder to return. The backhand punch is somewhat of a smash. It's most useful when the opponent has played a relatively weak ball and you try to either finish the point or further get the opponent off balance. The stroke is much like a backhand counter, but much stronger with a greater follow-through. Contact the ball here.